Hello, everybody. My name is Steven Riznyk, and I want to talk to you a bit about an area that a lot of our clients sooner or later encounter, which is reputation management. Especially today with the internet, anybody can write anything on the internet, and you have a problem. And you can't control the entire population. Um, there's always going to be somebody who will find some fault with you somehow. However, with great customer service and taking care of your clients and doing a good job, you minimize that as much as you can. But the kind of reputation management I want to talk to you about today is preventable. And I've been doing this for now 29 years, and I still see clients, despite my advice, making the same mistakes. So I thought it was worthy of a video. Here's the thing. I'll give you an example of a real life case. There was a person who was a subcontractor, not an employee, I want to distinguish that, for a firm abroad. The person was American and the firm is international, I won't mention names. And they separated. The person abroad was upset because he said, well, look, I came abroad, now I'm in this other country, blah, 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 got to go back to the US, find a job, start again. The company was upset because they stated, well, you said you could do X, Y, and Z. I don't see any results. I don't even see your capabilities in this area. You are not what your resume is. Imagine that. So they're in conflict. So the ex-contractor turns around and threatens them, and he states that he wants a certain settlement from them, or things will happen. Well, the biggest thing that can happen, of course, is damage on the internet, because a lot of times it's irreversible, and with some websites, if you respond to it, you now have two articles about you, which bring even more attention to the problem. So my goal was to negotiate. We're both a negotiation firm and a litigation firm. We prefer to negotiate. We make a lot less money, but you get your problem resolved because you can always litigate. Negotiate with the person and try to ascertain where he's at mentally. Now again, if you're a good negotiator, you can give it a shot yourself, but it depends on the situation, especially where two people are at odds. It's always good to have a third person in between. You might have somebody you can use to help you with that if you don't want to hire a professional. But at the end of the day, what was necessary here was understanding where the contractor was coming from. Was the real issue leaving the United States? Because part of why he wanted to work for them was because he wanted to explore, other nations, other situations. So I'm not sure, and I never did discover where he was at, because once we figured out where he was at, this could have been resolved. No money was owing to him under the contract, but many things could have been done that wouldn't have cost my client that much to satisfy the opposing person, the contractor. So a few letters were sent back and forth, and of course, they're indicative of hostility. Then finally, the contractor, out of, impatience, whatever you want to call it, frustration, turned around and wrote a negative comment on one of the internet sites about our client. And it's cost our client a lot of business. Moreover, the contractor lied about certain things that he wrote. Now, what do you do in a situation like this? At this point in time, in my opinion, negotiation is too late. Either at the beginning or after the middle step, which I'll explain now. But when you're at this middle step, you've got the contractor who's sitting here, and it doesn't matter if he's abroad or she's abroad or in the United States. They're thinking to themselves, I posted it on one website, nothing happened. You know, there were no repercussions. So what's that person going to do? Post it on other websites. And you have two problems here. You, number one, have a person who sees no negative consequences to their behavior. And that's an issue. And secondly, we don't know how well funded the person is. So if that person doesn't have any assets, they're judgment free. They've got nothing to lose. So in that kind of a case, what do you want to do? You want to file a lawsuit against the person. Filing and winning the lawsuit is not as important as filing it, because actions have consequences. And the person will now see or understand that there are repercussions to what's being done. And if this lawsuit is filed in California, which it can be in this case, then the person will have to fly back here to defend it, or if they want to save money, they won't defend it and will get a default judgment against that person for all the losses. So there are repercussions, and this is where I'm talking about the middle point. You need to show that person something will happen. Now, we couldn't have filed a lawsuit earlier because nothing did happen. Earlier, we could have negotiated with the person. If it's one of these people who have to have something to complain about all the time, the best thing is negotiate yourself out of it and let them go on to the next victim, because you're not going to stop a person like that. But if it's something unresolved, it keeps gnawing at them and they have to do something about it, and there you are, a target. So in this kind of situation, you would then file a lawsuit against the person, and then if it's a reputable website that this person complained on, what you do is you turn around and talk to the people who run the website, send them a copy of the lawsuit so that they see that nothing there was as the person stated, that it's all a lie, and hopefully within their terms of service they will remove that negative information. That would be the best thing. Absent that, you're going to have to get a firm that can create some positive PR for you to overcome the SEO, the search engine optimization standing of the negative information about you. And that's something that that's very critical, because unfortunately, well, the good news and bad news is this: unfortunately, the web, the internet, has a lot of power, and people in today's world, if they read something negative about you, why do they need to hire you? There are a lot of other people they can hire, a lot of other companies. They'll just go on to the next. So you want to have as much positive information out there as possible, not negative information. But back to the original solution. So you would file the lawsuit, and then if this person is at all amenable to a conversation, you want to bring them to step 3, the negotiating table, and ascertain how this can be resolved. And unfortunately, you have to understand this. You can spend a lot of money in litigation and get nothing achieved, in the sense that, people are people, and some people will continue in their behavior. However, if you do this strategically, you can put an end to the behavior. The problem is you still have the problem person. So at some point, you have to find out this person's weakness and deal with it accordingly in order to find out what works to put an end to this, and also what may be required to come to some sort of an accord. Because if you simply just file a lawsuit, yes, you may stop that, but something else may arise. So what I'm trying to say is communication is critical here. And you do want to file a lawsuit simply to stop that behavior. But then you want to make sure that other behavior doesn't arise. And this could have all been resolved with a negotiation meeting in the beginning, which unfortunately didn't take place, and welcome to the world. I mean, things don't always happen as you want them to happen. But the sooner you nip it in the bud, the sooner you get it out of the way, and this person goes on to something else, someone else. But if not, here we are with my client. 6 months later, this happened out of nowhere. And now the client is losing a phenomenal amount of money. And I've known other people who've lost upwards of $400,000-500,000 per year because of something negative that was posted on a website. I mean, a negative posting on a website can put somebody out of business. So you have to be very careful with that. You have to deal with people according to who they are, what their goals are, what their challenges are, and try to understand your opponent as quickly as possible, because it takes one person. One person can build you up, one person can tear you down. And especially somebody who's worked for you, they know where all the skeletons are hidden most of the time. It's a problem. So communicate, 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 negotiate. And I wish you all the luck, and I hope you never have to use this information, because I hope you never get challenged. Cheers.